It was the kind of betrayal that shakes your very core. You never think it'll happen to you, especially not by someone you trust, someone you've shared your deepest secrets with. But life has a way of throwing us curveballs. And when it happens, you realize the truth: no one is invincible to betrayal. It was a normal Tuesday morning, nothing seemed off. The sun was shining, the birds were chirping, and I was on my way to meet him. Him, the person I thought would never hurt me. We'd been through everything together. Every moment we shared seemed real, every promise felt like it meant something. But what I didn't know, what I couldn't have possibly known, was that, by the end of the day, he would leave me feeling more alone and betrayed than I had ever been in my entire life. Looking back now, it feels almost foolish to have ever trusted him the way I did. But when you're in the moment, love and loyalty cloud your judgment. I first met him when I was at my lowest, at a time when I needed someone to lean on. He was there, always there, with the right words, the right actions. I thought I'd found my person, my protector. We'd laugh together, cry together, talk about our futures. We were like partners in crime, two halves of a whole. I opened up to him in ways I'd never done before. My heart? It was his to hold, and I thought he treated it with care. I thought he would never break me. But life has a way of showing us who people truly are, doesn't it? It started with small things. Little red flags that I chose to ignore because I didn't want to believe they meant anything. Like how he started to distance himself, only ever showing up when it suited him. Or how he'd avoid our deep conversations, always brushing off my attempts to connect on a deeper level. At first, I thought it was just me being paranoid. But then it became harder to ignore. The way he'd look at his phone in silence, never letting me see what he was reading. The late-night texts he'd quickly cover up when I walked into the room. The moments of silence that stretched longer than they ever had before. I knew something was off, but I didn't have the courage to confront him. Not yet. And then, one night, it happened. It was supposed to be just another evening with him. But as I walked into the apartment, I was hit with a cold, suffocating feeling. I found him sitting there, staring at his phone with a look on his face I had never seen before. He didn't even look up as I entered. His eyes were cold, distant. The man I once knew seemed to have vanished. I asked him what was going on, trying to mask the fear creeping up in my chest. He didn't answer. He just stood up and walked past me without saying a word. That was when I saw it. Lying on the counter was something I wasn't supposed to see. A ticket. A plane ticket. To a place I didn't recognize. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the message on his phone. The one from another woman. My heart sank. It felt like the floor had been ripped out from under me. I didn't know how to process it. How could he do this? How could he do this to me? In that moment, everything fell apart. He came back into the room, but I could barely look at him. The man I had trusted with my life, the one I had shared my most intimate thoughts with, was standing in front of me. And I realized that I didn't even know who he was anymore. He tried to explain. He said it was a mistake, that it wasn't what I thought. But his words felt like knives, sharp and full of lies. The truth was plain to see. He had been hiding things he thought I wouldn't find out. And now, here I was, left to pick up the pieces of a broken heart. But something inside me snapped. I had trusted him with everything, and he had shattered that trust. He had left me for dead, emotionally speaking, and I was not going to let him get away with it. Narration. After the shock came the anger. A quiet, simmering rage that burned beneath the surface. I knew I couldn't let this slide. He had humiliated me. But I wasn't going to make a scene. No, I was smarter than that. I needed a plan. A calculated, clever plan to make him feel the way I had felt, the way he had made me feel. Betrayed, abandoned, and destroyed. It wasn't about revenge for revenge's sake, it was about justice. I wasn't going to let him get away with his lies and deceit. So, I bided my time, watching his every move, listening to his every word. I knew I had to be careful. He was still clever, still deceitful. But I was determined to outsmart him. It took weeks. But finally, I saw my opportunity. He was so sure that I had moved on, that I was broken and defeated. But he didn't know who he was dealing with. I knew his secrets. I knew his weaknesses. And I was about to expose him for everything he was. The night I had planned arrived. It was perfect. He thought we were meeting for a casual drink, but what he didn't realize was that I had set the stage. I had everything ready, the evidence, the truth, the proof. As we sat there, chatting about nothing in particular, I casually dropped a few hints. His face paled as I mentioned details he thought I didn't know. The lies he had built his world on started to unravel, piece by piece. His defenses crumbled as I hit him with the truth, his lies, his secrets, the betrayal. He was left speechless. I had won in the end. It wasn't about making him suffer. It wasn't about seeing him broken. What I truly wanted was closure. I wanted him to understand that his actions had consequences, that betrayal isn't something you walk away from unscathed. And as I walked away from that night, I felt a sense of relief. Not because I had gotten revenge, but because I had taken control of my life again. I had faced the betrayal head-on, and I had come out stronger on the other side. In the end, it wasn't about making him suffer. It wasn't about seeing him broken. What I truly wanted was closure. I wanted him to understand that his actions had consequences, that betrayal isn't something you walk away from unscathed. And as I walked away from that night, I felt a sense of relief. Not because I had gotten revenge, but because I had taken control of my life again. I had faced the betrayal head-on, and I had come out stronger on the other side.